Welcome back, trackside, once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight. The Colonial Clash Racing Truck Series fires things off. Once again, here at the Lady in Black, that's right, the track too tough to tame right here. Beautiful, sunny Darlington, South Carolina. Gonna host tonight's Dutch Brothers Coffee 135. 90 laps around this 1.3 mile track. We'll see which one of these truck drivers can capture the checkered flag. But first, how you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could all join us here tonight. As always, David the Cave bringing you all the calls from trackside. Speaking of trackside, qualifying already underway, so we're going to get rid of this track information. There you can see 70 degrees out there, so a lot of grip in the track right now for these truck drivers. We'll see who can top the speed charts here. Just about a minute and a half rolling off of the stopwatch here in qualifying, and we'll go ahead and drop some of the timing and scoring. And once again, it looks like something going on with these qualifying graphics plaguing us week after week. We're going to have to dig into this one and see what's going on back at the coding side of things, on the back side of things. But nonetheless, we'll give it to you the good old-fashioned way. Troy Radford, top of the speed charts. Quick time here in qualifying belongs to that 94 Chevy Silverado at 29:08 is the fast time here in qualifying. Brandon Medford right there as well. Dustin Franklin, Ricky Gonzalez, Scott Clodfelter, Nathan Eastham back in 6th with Wes Fuller, John Goodkins, James Oot, and Zach Woods rounding out your top 10. 17 drivers in the field tonight. So as the time ticks away on the music in the background, the stopwatch about halfway gone. Drivers left, 5 of them. Medford The 46 Chevy Silverado has been to victory lane twice this season. He's on his qualifying effort. Thomas Smalling, he's yet to jump into his machine and put down his time lap. John Garrett, another previous race winner, not laying down his fast time just yet. Dustin Franklin going to go third on the speed charts, while Medford slots in ninth with his first lap. So we got a little bit of time. So what do you say we go ahead? Let's go ahead and get this out the way. What do you say? Let's go into the championship standings coming into tonight's race. There you can see the top of the charts. Chris Medford and Brandon Medford. Not quite sure why Brandon's not showing up on our points, but they are tied with 301 points apiece. So a tie coming into tonight's race. Troy Radford right there sitting in third with Thomas Smalling right behind him. Cody Giles rounding out your top five. And Giles only 13 points out of the points lead, so very consistent field week in, week out. You can go all the way down there to the Thad Failer, who's in 10th position. He's only 50 points out. One or two good points days for Failer, and he can be right inside of the top five. So look for some drivers to try to capitalize on some trouble here tonight from Darlington Raceway. You're watching the Dutch Brothers 135. We'll get rid of that championship information, and with nobody left on track, Troy Radford will take the pole position here as we get set to roll off. Here tonight at Darlington Raceway, the lights will slowly creep on, and we'll end this thing in the dark. Don't go anywhere as we head trackside for your national anthem. We'll be back with your starting lineup live from Darlington Raceway.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular their bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
And backtrack side after the bills have been paid, all the sponsors are pleased. We're going to get ready to fire things off here tonight for 90 laps around this 1.3 mile beast of a track. There's a ton of history. Throwback night here tonight for the Colonial Clash Racing Series as we get set to fire off for the Dutch Brothers 135. Drivers are going to begin to make their way to their starting positions, taking the top spot in qualifying. Troy Radford will lead the field to the green flag. It's going to be a big night for Radford. Can he repeat last week's race-winning performance with back-to-back victories? Sitting in third in the point standings, really tied for second if you want to look at it that way, with a tie for the top spot. Radford and Thomas Smalling both 9 points out of that points lead, so it's very close up front, and we're going to get a little closer to the track as drivers are ready to roll here tonight. Man, I'm telling you what, 90 lap stage break at lap number 25. What do? What's your strategy? How do you run this thing right here? Do you go ahead and run these first 25 laps hard, see what you got, or do you play it easy? We're going to have to wait to see what these drivers do and how they go about things. And it looks like we may have a little bit of audio issues. We're not hearing the machines out there on track. And there they go. They're going to fire them off and get heading off of your starting grid. So as the music begins to play in the background, you know the sounds, you know it's time for us to run down tonight's starting lineup. The Dutch Brothers 135 starting inside row number 1, snatching the pole position inside of his Lucky Finn Project number 94, Troy Radford. Brandon Medford just to his outside. Back in row number 2, Dustin Franklin and Ricky Gonzalez. Brandon Pamitat and Scott Clodfelter back in row 3. Row number 4 here tonight, the 55 of Nathan Eastep and the 35 of Wes Fuller. Chris Medford and John Gutekunst will round out your top 10. John Garrett and James Hooten back in row 6. Row number 7 here tonight, the 60 of Zach Woods and the 13 of Thad Miller. Thomas Smalling, Scott Baker, and Ray Radford finish out the 17 truck field, and we're going to come around to the restart zone for the first time here tonight and fire these machines off. Music will fade in the background, and green flag flies for the first time here tonight from Darlington Raceway down into turn number 1. We'll stack them up for 25 laps before our first competition. Caution here tonight, our one and only stage break. Clear advantage on the high side. How about the 83 of Brandon Medford? He's going to take the top spot heading into turn 1, keep it all the way down the back stretch, and new race leader here on lap number 1, Brandon Medford, to the top of the track and to the top of the leaderboard. Single file racing, which we will see a good bit of single file racing here in Darlington Raceway. A very tough track to pass. You really got to set up those passes. Really think a corner or two, a lap or two ahead, and try to set that pass up and make up some positions. Very tough track to run out there by yourself. You can see these truck drivers sitting about, I don't even want to call it a half a lane off of the outside wall already, and we're only working lap number 3. So as the front of the field begins to settle itself out, let's go back here just behind your podium positions. U.S. Air Force 48 of Brandon Pamitat. Great run the last week at Watkins Glen. Can he repeat again? Pamitat is sitting just inside of your top 10, sitting in that 9th position, 43 points out of your overall points lead. So Pamitat trying to turn his season around as we are just past the halfway point. We've only got ourselves about maybe 5 more weeks of racing before the playoffs start. So these truck drivers beginning to try to dial things in and get set for that championship run. Nathan East up in the square D, 55. Chevy Silverado sitting in 6th position, trying to track down Pamitat, who sits in 5th. Ricky Gonzalez and Brandon Pamitat right there, 4th and 5th. Dustin Franklin holding down that 3rd spot. Up 6 positions, though, from where he qualified. This man has been on a move. Inside of that 21 Pro Cup racing experience, Chevy Silverado, Thomas Smalling heading to the front. Not seeing anybody with any issues here tonight, but we are hearing reports that the 47 of Ray Radford had a fuel issue. Radford with a fuel issue, the 47 out of tonight's race before he had a shot. Tough break here, and sometimes at Darlington it just be like that. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? It just things seem to happen here at the Lady in Black. The track too tough to tame. And right now the walls are clean. All the trucks are cleaned. But I bet you by the end of tonight's race, there's going to be a ton of drivers out there with that famous Darlington stripe. Smalling drifting it up through the center of 1 and 2, cutting it back down. Big run. Looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we're going to get back to the racing action in just one moment. We do apologize. Bear with us, race fans, and we'll stay live. And it looks like somebody pulled the cord, but we're gonna get it all fixed up and figured out for you. We do apologize for the little bits of mishaps at the front of the field. There was a pass for your race lead. Troy Radford able to go back to the top of the leaderboard, and it looks like we are hearing word that everything good to go now. All right, well, we'll get back trackside. Once again, we do apologize. We appreciate everybody sticking with us, working through the little bit of kinks and hiccups, and well, you know, live TV kind of be like that sometimes. Front of the field showing the way, your pole sitter grabbing the top spot back moments ago. As Troy Radford now leads the field, Brandon Medford sits in second with Ricky Gonzalez picking up a position. Gonzalez going to go to third. Brandon Pimitan back in fourth. Dustin Franklin rounds out your top five. High side of the racetrack is Bradford. Brandon Medford still following along right beside him. Ricky Gonzalez there. You can see your third place runner inside of that, number 7, Silverado. Gonzalez with a good run, picking up one position from where he qualified. Brandon Pamitan right behind him. He's going to move up one spot while the 46. That's Spartan Charity Motorsports number 46 of Chris Medford. Up 4 positions now inside of your top 5. Dustin Franklin back in 6th, but the man on the move right here inside of that 21 Pro Cup Racing Experience Chevy Silverado from all the way outside of your top 10, starting from the 15th position. He's going to pick up 8 spots, and Thomas Smalling will sit in 7th. Handful of laps away from our stage break. We are working lap number 17 here, front of the field. Dustin Franklin sitting in 6th with Thomas Smalling begin to work his way around him on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's going to bring the 41 of John Gutekunst up into the mix as well. So look for Gutekunst to try to pick up that 7th position from Franklin. We're still hearing where they're working on some of the graphics and things in the background, trying to get that all back online for you race fans. So we do apologize for that, but I do believe we may be able to kick it old school here. And, well, we're going to have to kick it old school with the throwback night here at Darlington Raceway. The Dutch Brothers Coffee 135 here with the Colonial Clash Racing Series. Want to give a big shout out to everybody joining us here tonight, whether you're just sliding in to say hey, or if you're one of the dedicated fans, friends, family, one of our many sponsors. We'd like to thank each and every one of you each and every time you stop by. Without you, there would be no us. And into the outside wall, you can see it right there, picking up his first Darlington stripe of the night, Smalling into the wall. Battle a little further up through the field here. You can see Brandon Bamitat closing in, and then U.S. Air Force number 48 closing in on Gonzalez, who's sitting in 3rd. Can Bamitat pick up a 2nd position and move inside of a podium? Wes Fuller going to pick up a position after dropping 5 spots from where he qualified in these opening few laps. Fuller going to pick up 1 more position. He's going to make a spot up. Zach Woods going to move back to 13th, while Fuller puts his Ford in 12th. Highest running F-150 in the field, Scott Clodfelter, the number 2 machine, sitting in 11th position right now, just a little bit off pace. Let's go check out this 2. Nice looking iRacing Ford F-150 right here, but Clodfelter a bit off pace, about 12 seconds back from your race leader, 2 seconds back from the man in front of him. There you can see John Garrett, the 66, struggling a little bit here tonight. That's CMN Transportation. Fort Worth Screen Printing. The Silverado, a field dominated really by the Chevys. Only 1 Toyota tonight. That's going to be Zach Woods sitting right here. You can see a lot of damage and scrapes on the left side of his car, the driver's side of this truck. He's had some contact with the inside wall at some point in time, where he's had a little bit of a rough go with a fellow driver. Brandon Pamitat going to pick up that 3rd position. Let's go back up front. There you can see Pamitat able to take that spot. Chris Medford closing right in, looking for 4th here. Lap number 25 goes on the board this time around. We'll see the stage caution. So with the stage break coming up, holding serve from the field right where they qualified here tonight, the 94 of Troy Radford, followed by Brandon Medford. They're going to stay 1-2. Brandon Pamitat going to pick up 2 positions on this initial green flag run. Ricky Gonzalez going to stay right where he started, right there in that 4th position. Chris Medford going to pick up 4 spots, while Thomas Smalling knocking on the door of a top 5 after starting from 15th. Smalling going to move all the way to 6th, and there it is. Stage caution will fly. Caution on the racetrack. Everybody gonna slow down as Radford gonna make his way to the back end of the pace car. Look for everybody to come down to pit road. Everybody's gonna want 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Everybody's gonna want to go ahead and fill up with fuel. We still got a long night to go here tonight from Darlington Raceway. We're gonna take a brief commercial break, pay the last bit of the bills, make sure all the sponsors are happy and nobody pulls the plug on us again. So we do appreciate everybody sticking with us. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back live from Darlington Raceway. And back live trackside, looking over the boss man and the flag stand shoulder as drivers gonna make their way by the start and finish line. It looks like we'll get the one to go. Pace car lights are off. Our good buddy Travis Smith gonna bring that pace car down pit road, and we're gonna get ready to go once again here from Darlington Raceway. Clean and clear opening run. 25 lap green flag run to start things off here tonight from the Lady in Black for the Dutch Brothers 135 here with the Colonial Clash Racing Series. Brandon Metford gonna win the race off of pit road. He will be the control car for the restart. Radford gonna line up just beside him with Brandon Pemitat and Chris Metford back in row 2. Gonzalez and Smalling back in row 3. Dustin Franklin and John Gutekunst in row 4. And for the restart, Nathan Eastep and John Garrett will finish out your top 10. Pace car down and away. A third of the way already through tonight's Dutch Brothers 135 to the restart zone. We roll and away we go. Green flag flies once again here from Darlington. Medford with a good jump, and he's going to clear Radford before turn one. That's going to open up the inside lane. Here comes Pamitat down on the bottom of the racetrack, and it's going to be a Brandon and Brandon show at the front of this field. Hearing a little bit of Let's Go Brandon out there in the stands. Great fans here tonight from Darlington for the throwback night for these Colonial Clash Racing Series truck drivers. Looking for a position. Looks like Gutekunst look to step out of line. Not going to take the spot just yet. John Garrett right behind him. And that 66 Garrett moving forward now inside of your top 10. And with a few completed laps, we'll drop the timing and scoring back over there to the left-hand side of your screen. Whoa, big moment. Big moment back in the back. I believe that was the 60 of Zachary Woods, possibly. Was that Zach? Yes, it was the 60 with a little bit of a struggle here. A little bit off pace, running in the 16th position, losing ground to the drivers in front of him. Looks like he has utilized that quick fix, one and only quick fix here for these Colonial Clash Racing Truck Series drivers. So Zach Woods with a fresh truck, trying to keep it looking fresh. Got out of the gas to keep it out of the wall. But we're going to head back up front with the racing action here. Radford keeps peeking out to the inside on this front stretch. Looking like he's just... I don't think he's looking for the move. I think he's just trying to play a little head games with the man in front of him. Brandon Pamitat sitting in that second position. But let's take a look off the tail end if we can. There you go. Well, we'll go front side here with Pamitat on board with this 48 Chevy Silverado, closing in on your race leader, Brandon Medford. Radford right behind him. We'll go a little deeper in the field. What do you say, race fans? Back here on board with John Garrett, the 66. Sitting in the 9th position, he's got Nathan Eastep right behind him. And there's a look back off the tail end of the 66 of Gutekunst, also carrying one of our onboard camera shots. Let's check out the Goose Graphics, number 35, Ford F-150 of Wes Fuller, looking back at Scott Claude Felter. Thad Miller and Scott Baker also back inside of the top 15, so some great camera work, great camera shots here tonight from Darlington Raceway. And we're going to jump around just a little bit. Long green flag run ahead of ourselves, and sometimes at Darlington, it's a roll of the dice. Either you can have a lot of trouble, you can have spotty trouble, but I guarantee you're going to have trouble at Darlington. We're going to have trouble for this third position. How about Chris Medford looking to the inside now, trying to take that 46 Burton Charity Motorsports Chevy Silverado inside the third spot. Right now looking for third. Kenny grabbed the final spot on the podium here on lap number 37. Not going to be able to complete the pass. Thomas Smalling right there as well. Now up 10 positions is that 21 truck. Very strong run here tonight for Smalling. And we'll head down the front stretch and back into turn number 1. Field going to come right at you as we dig into your living rooms. Ooh, what a run here by Lee. Single file race front of this field. 83 shows the way. Has a little bit of a gap over Radford sitting in second. Brandon Medford back. Brandon Pamitat, back in the third position. Chris Medford and Thomas Smalling going at it. There you can see Medford looking for a way around Pamitat. Smalling, he's been able to make moves here tonight. The biggest mover by far in tonight's race, on 10 positions from where he qualified. So the Pro Cup racing experience, 21, very quick. He knows how to get around the track, knows how to get around fellow drivers as well. Look for that 21 to try to make a move. Not Knocking on the door of the halfway point here tonight, we have had some highlights to talk about. Great racing action here front of the field. 40 laps of green flag action, only a stage break caution coming at the end of lap number 25. Slowed these drivers down. Otherwise, it has been a clean and clear race all night long. Back across the stripe. Once again, Medford will lead. Nose to tail from third all the way back to fifth. Chris Medford, Brandon Pamitan, Thomas Spaulding still trying to battle for those positions. Got to step back just a little bit to find the number 7 of Ricky Gonzalez. There you can see Gonzalez beginning to try to reel these guys back in, but seems just to be a little bit off pace. Side by side, here's the move by Spaulding. Drag race down the front stretch, and no. Brandon Pamitan going to keep the 4th position for now, as Chris Medford was able to grab that spot away from him and move himself into the final spot on the podium. Into the outside wall. Big hit to the outside wall. Wes Fuller with some issues. Tough break here for the 35, and he's going to compound his problems into the outside wall once again in 3 and 4 now. That's going to be back-to-back corners with some contact with the outside wall. And a tough break for Fuller. He's going to lose a bit of ground. And while this happens, we're going to go watch this happen. Would you look at this? Closing in on lap traffic. Race leaders closing in the lap truck heads down pit lane. I believe that's going to be the 65 of James Oot. Yes, it is Oot to pit road. Still a close battle for the top spot, but guess who is here? Guess who is knocking on the door now? Once again, is sitting in that 3rd position now. Chris Medford looking for another spot or two. And I'm telling you, inside of this 46, this man right here, he's been on a mission all season long. 2 race wins, 4 top 5s with 6 top 10s. Absolutely phenomenal. One of the only drivers that has the better or best him in those categories, his brother, Brandon. And where's Brandon? Well, he's leading the race. Has led the most laps so far here tonight. Brandon Medford with 3 race wins this season, 5 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. And as we are at our halfway point, we'll go ahead and give you your driver highlights and spotlights, your mid-race rundown there to see leading the race top spot. The Knightstown, Indiana native, inside of that Charity Motorsports number 83, Brandon Medford shows the way. All 3 of these guys, teammates, all 3 of them used to running to the front, but finally back to victory lane. Duckinsville, Pennsylvania native Troy Radford going to get to victory lane last week on the road course, and Watkins Glen backing that up with a pole position here tonight. Led a handful of laps. Running in 2nd, Radford looks to finish things off here from Darlington well. Back in 3rd, we talked about a moments ago. The 2nd Medford boy in the field, the 2nd Medford inside of your podium spots. Chris Medford looking for his 3rd win of the season. He's been able to move up 6 positions from where he qualified, so definitely got some speed inside of that 46. We'll see if he can close it on your top 2. Biggest mover of the race, so we're going to wrap 2 things up all in one, sitting right here in the 4th position, up 11 spots from where he qualified tonight. That Pro Cup racing experience. 21 Chevy Silverado, piloted by Thomas Spaulding. Absolutely lights out here tonight from Darlington. Ricky Gonzalez going to round out your top 5. Gonzalez from 4th back to 5th with Brandon Pamitan right there. We might as well include this U.S. Air Force number 48 machine, the Long Island native. The New Yorkers going at it for the final spot inside of the top 5, and that's going to do it for your driver highlights and spotlights, and we'll move on to your mid-race rundown. 17 drivers to the starting grid. 16 made the start. Unfortunately tonight, the 47 of Ray Radford stepped out with fuel issues before able to making his way to the starting grid. 15 drivers still on track, with James Hoop having engine troubles early. The 65 going to head back to the hauler, and that's going to leave us with 15 drivers on track. And with only 13 left on the lead lap, we'll cross the line this time around, put lap number 51 behind us, as drivers now on the downhill side of things. We got to start looking at something else here, race fans. We've been so caught up with making sure we get everybody out there doing well, their duty time and their dues that they are so owed. Look at this number 55. Thinking of that, the square D number 55, Nathan Eastep, working his way back slowly but surely, trying to climb his way back into a solid top 10 position. Sitting in the 9th spot for now, trying to run down John Garrett, sitting in a. Not a lot to talk about at the front of the field. Brandon Medford continues to lead. Troy Radford, Chris Medford, Thomas Smalling, and Ricky Gonzalez right there in that 7 machine. Able to break away from Brandon Pamitat and John Gudican, so job well done from that 7. Race leaders go flying by. Radford still right there hounding your race leader, but not able to do much of anything with it. He can close in a few tens here and there, but just unable to get close enough to make a pass through the field lap traffic. Still out in front of your race leaders, I believe. And that is the 13 of Thad Miller, just off in the distance. As everybody's going to go flying by, we'll head back down the backstretch once again. Get a look at your race leaders rolling in lap traffic. Gaps beginning to build, gaps beginning to stabilize through this long green flag run. Keep in mind, race fans, last time these drivers were on pit road was back at the stage break. Lap number 27 is when these drivers came down pit road, so almost 30 laps ago. Fuel definitely getting close. And this is also setting things up for a one-stop race. You're going to have to be spot on. Looking at it right here, like we said, lap 27 is when they were last on the pit road 30 laps ago. And well, here it is, green flag pit stops underway. Chris Medford to pit road. Dustin Franklin gonna follow Chris Medford down pit road, and you're gonna be able to make it from here, so you gotta be spot on. You gotta hit your marks. You gotta make sure you get the truck slowed down, and whatever you do not miss pit entry. If you miss pit entry, your race is going to be done for. Very tricky entrance to pit road. Very tricky. We'll see who's able to navigate it here. If it looks like some drivers with some troubles, Ricky Gonzalez going to move all the way to third now. Thomas Smalling going to fall back into the 4th position. Brandon Pamitat now hot on his trail. John Gudican's not too far off in that 41 machine. Let's take a look at this man right here. We haven't talked too much about Gudican's quiet night behind the wheel. A 4th position, so a solid run, a solid night for Gudican's, just slowly but surely the closer, so to speak, here tonight. Gudican's running well. 66 of Garrett going to come to pit road this time by Scott Baker. Makes his way off of pit road and back onto the racing surface. He's going to be listed. I believe Baker's going to end up being 2 laps down. The first driver listed 2 laps down, and yes, he is. There it is, 2 laps down to your race leader, who's yet to come to pit road. Let's head back right here. Let's take a look right here as these drivers navigate lap traffic. 7 of Ricky Gonzalez sitting in that 3rd position. Thomas Smalling back in 4th, with Brandon Pemitat rounding out your top 5. Close quarters racing for the final spot on the podium with just 30 to go. Yeah, absolutely out there in the chat. Solid run here tonight for Brandon. He qualified 5th. Sitting in 5th, he was inside of your top 3 earlier in the race. We'll see how things go with 4 fresh Goodyears. What is the front of this field? What's the strategy really going to be like? It looks like most of them are going to try to run this thing dry before heading to pit road. So could the advantage be maybe? If you're this 48 right here, you got yourself about a half a second or so, maybe 3/4 of a second now, it looks like, as Gutekunst has a rough turn 3 and 4. Do you make that dive now, get a jump on the drivers in front of you, get at least a lap or 2 advantage on fresh tires? I don't believe 2-lap fresher tires is going to matter later in the race, but I think it's going to matter right here. A good eyeball for that one. The measuring stick will be Chris Medford on the pit road back at lap 56.06 laps ago. We'll see how it all breaks down. Brandon Medford and Troy Radford are going to break away for pit road. This time around, that's going to put the race lead into the hands of the 7 new race leader here tonight. Ricky Gonzalez is going to be our 3rd leader of tonight's Dutch Brothers 135. With a long green flag run upon us, if you haven't already, show us some love and support. Join us in that push to 3,000 subscribers. Show these drivers some love. Drop the thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there at the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back to Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Each and every time you stop by. Without you, there would be no us, as we now watch the 55 of E-Step work his way off of turn number 2. Brandon Pamitan, John Gutekunst, Scott Clodfelter, all the pit lane. Yeah, I see you're liking the short pit option, but, well, the leaders jumped on it, but I'm telling you, where's he at? Let's. Can we find him on track, boys? Do we got him somewhere? Let's go look right here. This man right here, up close and personal, with that 46, the Charity Motorsports 46 of Chris Medford. On the pit road. On the pit road, back at lap number 56. Lap number 56. Race leader at the time, Brandon Medford and Troy Radford, came to pit road on lap 62. 6-lap difference. And look at the advantage for Chris Medford. This man right here may have the race-winning strategy. He's been able to put himself back onto the lead lap, with Gonzalez still stretching this fuel run. Nathan E-Step stretching the fuel run as well. Only 2 drivers yet to hit pit road, and that is your race leader, the man sitting in second, the square D, number 55 of Nathan E-Step. Sitting about 7.3, 7.5, somewhere right in that range. You can see it fluctuating just a little bit here. E-Step also staying out. But we want to look at this. The timing and scoring doesn't show it for you guys just yet, because Medford and Radford haven't been able to get by race leader Ricky Gonzalez just quite yet, but a 5-second advantage. So not only did Chris Medford hit from 3rd, give up the final spot on the podium, but 6 laps later, he's going to come back out on track. And within 3 laps, He's going to have a 4.5-second advantage now. Yes, time is ticking out, and yes, the speeds are quickening for the guys behind him, but Ricky Gonzalez to the pit road. Nathan East stepped to pit road as well, so the green flag cycle will run itself out, and it looks like clean and clear onto pit road. And no tickets, no pit road penalties here tonight, so the pit road police gonna sit all down, maybe wait till next week. But how about it? Right here, Chris Medford, man, strategy of the night. I'm glad somebody out there in the chat kind of got where I was going with that. I mean, look at it. A 3.5-second advantage, 22 laps. We're going to look at the timing and scoring here next time around. Or this time around, I should say. Get a little bit of a clearer view of what those 6 tires are really worth. They're worth a lot on this front end, but will they be able to hold down for another 21 laps? That's going to be the key. That's going to be the question. I think it's going to be pretty close. Race leader Chris Medford, a 30.27, a 29.77 for the man sitting in second. Brandon Medford, who has led the majority of tonight's race. Troy Radford sitting in third with a 29.70. Fastest lap of the race, though, being turned in that last time around. Sitting in fifth, the 21 of Thomas Smalling. That should be of no surprise. A 29.26 for the fast time in race trim with 20 to go. Medford with a 2.5-second advantage over brother Brandon. Oh boy, here you go. There he is, Brandon Medford. He can see him off in the distance. Cue the Jaws music there. You can see just off in front of him. A little bit of a work of the throttle. Let's listen to Brandon as he makes his way around the track here at Darlington Raceway. The Dutch brothers 135 with less than 20 to go. Let's take a lap with Brandon. And that's a lap around the racetrack here with Brandon Medford on board to win the 83 as he continues to try to close in. While the man at the front of the field, his own brother leading the race after a short pit strategy. And it's seeming to work out right here. 17 to go. Chris Medford still leads by 1.1. Closest battle on the racetrack besides the one that's getting ready to go down at the front of the field. Let's take a look at Brandon Pamitan and Thomas Smalling, 4th and 5th on the racetrack. And Smalling going to look to the inside to look for that position as they head down into turn number 1, working hard at it, trying to gain that position. Washing up the track just a little bit on entry to 1. And that's going to allow Pamitan to get a good run off of turn number 2. Race lead now under 1 second with just 15 to go. And absolutely right, those few lap pressure tires make a huge difference. I mean, we're watching it right here. He's closing in. Brandon Medford definitely closing in. He's definitely got the speed. Troy Radford also closing in, sitting just 2 seconds back, 1.3 seconds off of Brandon, and sitting in second. So those 6-lap tires, 6-lap pressure tires, they have indeed worked out for Chris at the front of the field. But as we continue to watch the speed charts, last time around, Chris Medford leading the race, a 30.45. Brandon Medford and Troy Radford sitting in second and third, a 30.23 and a 30.03. So still 2 to 3 tenths faster, but the difference definitely beginning to dissipate. Things definitely evening out, so to speak, on this tire run now. So I don't know. I mean, I still like the strategy. If I'm in that 46, I'm liking my chances here. Because sure, you gotta catch me, obviously. But the most important thing, you gotta pass me. And with it being teammate, and my teammate, that is my brother too. I'm thinking I'm gonna get a clean race here. So you know what? I'm gonna make this Spartan Chevy Silverado just as wide as possible. Lap traffic coming into play as well, so this could factor in. And how about Troy Bradford, who's just sitting right... Oh, lap traffic into the outside wall right in front of your race leaders. Oh, man, that got pretty dicey. Woo. Big moment there with just 12 laps to go. 11 when we cross the line this time by lap traffic into the outside wall right in front of race leaders, having to jump out of the gas. It was Chris Medford. Brandon all over his rear deck lid. Bit of a brown driver suit moment there. Troy Bradford had a pretty good view of it all going down. And there's the dive. There it is down to the inside. Can he make it work? He's got to stick it to the bottom of the racetrack. Coming out of 4, they'll drag race to the line and move Brandon Medford back to the point advantage to the 83 into 1. Still side-by-side racing action. And how about it? High, wide, and handsome, making Harry Gant proud, running that Larson line. Pushing it to the limit. 46 going to prevail on that high side. That opened up the door for Troy Bradford trying to pick up the second spot. Big wiggle. Big loose condition off of turn number 4 for Brandon. He's going to lose a little bit more ground here. Bradford beginning to close back in. 1, 2, 3 on the track. All Charity Motorsports drivers, and they are all battling it out. And I'm telling you, it doesn't look like there's team orders, not a one out here tonight. Back across the stripe, and we'll put another one in our back pocket and put another lap left in his back pocket is Chris Medford. That undercut. Heading out right now. Big run off of 2, though. Brandon's going to close right in. And he's going to dive to the bottom, try the slide job. Into the outside wall goes Chris Medford. He's going to bang it off the boards. How does he... Oh! Big hit there for the 46, almost keeping it out of the outside wall, but big trouble here for Chris. Man. With a big moment at the end of the race, Chris Medford going to watch a great finish slip from his fingertips, and he is now sitting outside of the top 5. Tough run here for Chris. Big slide job out of that 83 of Brandon Medford. He cleared with no problems, no contact, but it was just enough to upset the front end of the truck of the 46, and unfortunately he's going to go for a tap of the outside wall, a big spin across the track. He'll get it headed back in the right direction, but he's going to lose all types of time with the oldest tires on track. I don't think that really bodes well for his chances to get back inside of the top 5. We'll see how he goes. We'll see how the rest of the night runs. But back out of turn 4, we'll cross the stripe. The high 5 from the boss man to the flag stand. Just 5 laps to go. And you know what? With 5 laps to go, we haven't really mentioned it a whole lot. I mean, we really haven't, but how about the skills of these drivers? Anybody that has ever been on a racing simulator, game, console, whatever it may be based off, and you've had a chance to run at Darlington a race, and you have the chance to say you ran 90 laps and only had a stage brake caution at lap 25, clean green flag racing all night long. 16 truck drivers making a green flag pit stop without an incident. Man, I'm telling you, these guys right here in the Colonial Clash Racing Series showing why they are top-tier truck drivers on the world's #1 racing simulator, iRacing.com. We do appreciate everybody joining us here tonight. You're watching the Colonial Clash Racing Series Dutch Brothers 135 coming across the stripe this time around. Popsicle sticks on display for your race leader, just 2 to go. Ryan had about 2.5 miles of racing remaining for Brandon Medford to claim his 4th win on the season. My goodness, this guy right here, that's going to be just about half of the races that we've run in this season that he has walked away with the checkered flag and a 4 this time around. Back across the stripe, coming at you into turn number 1. White flag flies. Final lap as Brandon Medford leads the field through 1 and 2. Radford hot on the trail, but he is not going to get there over a 1 second back. As Brandon Medford continues to lead, Ricky Gonzalez trying to close in on the man in front of him. Gonzalez trying to break into the top 5, but for the final time, off of 4, checkered flag waves. Your race winner here tonight at the Dutch Brothers 135 inside of that Zoe's Place. Charity Motorsports number 83 for the 4th time this season. He will park that thing in victory lane. Troy Radford going to finish things off tonight with another great run. And we're going to take a moment as Brandon Pamitat going to come join the top 2 drivers here tonight. He's going to have himself a little bit of a photo shoot. The 48 U.S. Air Force Chevy Silverado going to finish in 3rd. And Spencer, I agree with you. There's a reason why I'm in the booth and I'm not on the track, and that's because, well, I guarantee you, I guarantee I'm good for at least 2 cautions. At least 2. Maybe 4 or 5. It all depends on just how bad they are. I'm just saying. Not a fan of Darlington. Fan of the racing? Don't put me behind the wheel. Put this man behind the wheel. Gonna show us how it's done. Celebration on the front stretch. Gonna give the fans in the stands a little bit of a smoke show. Sold out packed house for tonight's throwback night from Darlington Raceway. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We've got post-race interviews coming up right after this brief commercial break. And backtrack side as promised, high above the track at the conclusion of tonight's Dutch Brothers 135. And we're going to dive right into things. What do you say we go have a few words with some of your podium drivers here tonight? Let's see if we can't catch in and have a few words with the man that walked away, sitting in third here tonight. Once again, in that U.S. Air Force number 48 machine, Brandon. It's Dave. You got a copy?
What's going on, Dave?
Same old stuff, different day, man. Watching some great racing action out there. Walk us through a little bit of your night. Do you think you could have done anything differently to maybe grab that second spot or possibly even the top spot?
I feel like if I pit possibly a little bit earlier than all these other guys and maybe got a little bit of the track position on them, uh, could have possibly had second. Brandon was really quick all night. He was out front I think, the entire race. So I don't know if I would have caught him, but battling with Troy would have been a blast.
Well, Brandon, you made yourself a few passes throughout the night. A clean pit stop. Full green flag racing here tonight. We only had the stage break, but you qualified in fifth. You're gonna walk away with third. You came into tonight's race sitting just inside of the top 10, so this is definitely gonna help you out in that point standing side of things. Do you think things starting to turn around a little bit for you in your season? Things starting to look on the up and up?
Yeah, I sure hope so. I think we've run a pretty strong season in terms of pace and things like that. We've just had, bad luck at a lot of places. Like last week at Watkins Glen, we caught up, in the leaders battling. There was another night at, I believe it was Vegas. We got spun in the lead. There was a few incidents throughout the season so far that, we had the potential to have a podium and we got wiped out. So it's good to finish back in the podium at a tougher track than all the other ones. I hope this is sort of building momentum. I feel like we could easily be top 5 in points, but like I said, the luck just hasn't been on my side. I've had the pace, and I've shown the pace plenty of times in other races. It's just we don't ever have that finishing position that we deserve. So I sure do hope that this is the momentum to get started right before the playoffs.
Well, luck be at the lady tonight here for you at the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. Brandon, before we let you go here tonight, give it to me, Goose. You got any shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
Of course, as always, I want to thank you for the broadcast. You do an amazing job. Everyone loves to go back and watch, no matter what night it is, what league you may be streaming. We think you do an amazing job. I want to thank the league, Colonial Clash. Honestly, great racing tonight. It was a really tough track for multiple people, but I feel like the quality of racing was really, really good. I had a blast racing with Troy side by side. Thomas and I were going at it for a bunch of laps. Raced him with respect tonight, and he did the same. So that's really nice to see. Ricky too. Ricky, not next to him much, but he raced with respect tonight. So I got to thank all the guys for that. It's always a blast with these guys. Like I said, respectful, clean, hard racing. Fort Worth screen printing, those guys are awesome. Can't thank them enough for making teams in the league and fearing each other up and having a good time whenever things may be going not our way in the race. And as always, I want to thank my dad for watching and supporting, giving crew chief calls, spotter calls, anything like that. Really good encouragement for some of these tougher tracks and tougher races.
Absolutely. Well, Brandon, again, congratulations on another good finish here. We hope this is that building block, that momentum swing. Looking like things are starting to turn around, and we'll see how everything shakes out next week. But again, my man, as always, stay safe and keep it fast.
Of course, thank you very much. I hope to be talking to you a lot more.
All right, there you have it. Final few words for the man inside of that 48 U.S. Air Force machine. Give it to me, Goose, right there. Beautiful Maverick. Top Gun scheme for the helmet for the driver inside of that 48. Brandon Pemitat will walk away with third, and that's going to move us right along the list. Tell you what, let's see if we can have a few words with the man that walked away with the pole position in qualifying, last week's race winner from Watkins Glen. Troy, it's Dave. I'm glad to
going
see you here again, man. I mean, heck, you were just here last week.
Yeah, no, I thought I was gonna have a shot at being up in the next slot too, but it didn't play out that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes things happen. Well, walk us through a little bit of your night, especially I want to talk about those final 10 laps. I mean, you and your teammates running first through third, big battle between the brothers as well. What were you thinking sitting there in third? Were you licking your lips? I mean, what was going through your mind?
I knew it. I knew my shot was over. About 25 laps to go. We were coming out of the pits. I got a little sideways, and then and I kind of started catching. And then one of the lapped cars slid up coming off of two, and really kind of made me, slow up a lot off of two. So I lost so much time to Brandon at that point that I kind of had to chew up my tires to catch him. I knew I would kind of get there, but you know, that was pretty much all she had. Once I had to, I came out pretty close behind Brandon out of the pits, and then just kind of once I got sideways and had that, I had to use up too much tire just trying to catch up to him. So, it was really just try to get there and then hope maybe I could, maybe he'd clip the fence and slow up, or take advantage somehow like that. And it came close to happening, unfortunately, between the brothers. But I'm glad to see at least us finish. I think Chris still ended up top 10. So.
Yeah, Chris did finish in that final spot inside of the top 10, so still a good points day for him. A great points day for you. You came into tonight's race tied, depending on how you want to look at it, tied for third or tied for fourth, or however you want to run it down in the point standings. Just 9 points back behind Brandon. So you get a shot in the arm, you're going to make up some ground. You may be able to move into that second position. So now that thing's starting to turn around a little bit for you, as we mentioned when we first got here to you, truck side. Last week, first race win at the Glen. This is going to be your 6th top 5, your 7th top 10. So the consistency is there for you. Do you think you'll get back to victory lane before the playoffs start?
Honestly, I haven't even looked at the schedule for the rest of the season. I'm kind of taking it week by week. So, it's really just kind of gearing up towards that chase, because the chase is so tough here with us having those single round formats. That it's just, and last year I missed the first round of the chase. I got stuck at work. So, I try not to even get too excited about it. But, just get out there, try to run top 5 as much as I can, and hopefully pick up a win here and there if I get lucky. So that's pretty much my game plan here on out.
Well, boss man, he's gonna be sick every Wednesday night. It's gonna be like some crazy weekly flu, and it's gonna be just from about 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and he's gonna feel better. I got you covered, Troy. You're good to go. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely. And if even y'all are thinking about buying a car in Pennsylvania on a Wednesday night, show up at 5 o'clock, not 7:30.
Show up on Thursday. Just saying. No. Troy, always a pleasure to catch up with you and kind of shoot the bull, so to speak, man. Congratulations on yet another podium, another solid top 5. Great performance for you and your crew here tonight. Before we let you go, you know the drill, so we're going to step out the way, and Mike is yours.
Oh, of course, big shout out, of course, National Kidney Foundation, Evidence-Based Mommy Lucky Finn Project. And, of course, speaking of evidence-based mommy, for those of you who don't know, if you are a parent of young children, evidence-based mommy gives you a good scientific background in young child parenting. And right now she is running she is running a summit. If you have a child who is breastfeeding, there is some pretty awesome information out there. Not as exciting as you're thinking, Dave, but still some awesome stuff.
Hey man, I honestly wasn't even thinking. I was over here eating some popcorn, enjoying your driver's suit. To be honest, I was like, hey, I mean that's a little different cheetah weird print he's got on there, but hey, we won't judge. Troy, always a pleasure, man. Always great to catch up with you. We know we're going to talk a little bit further on throughout the season, so for now, until next time, as always, stay safe and keep it fast.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from our good buddy Troy Radford. Always a pleasure to catch up with him. Always good to have fun with these drivers and post-race interviews. And Radford going to finish off the night in second. Started from pole position, but still a solid points night here tonight for the 94. Radford will finish tonight's race back in the second spot, and that's going to move us right along the list to the man of the moment, the man of the hour once again, now for the fourth time this season. Brandon, does this ever get old?
Oh, hell no.
I love it. So, fourth time to victory lane. This is going to be your sixth top five, your seventh top 10. A king of consistency, really, this season. Uh, we're gonna look. We're gonna look past the start of the playoffs. You think you got a shot at a championship. I mean, you're running so well here tonight, here not just tonight, but all season long. You think the championship runs through you and your race shop?
I I like to say yes, I have a shot, but I mean, any given week you could mess up. I've just been fortunate to, had good runs. I've missed some messes, and um, you know, I, I've just been extremely fortunate. Everybody's had trouble but me, so my time is coming. So I'm just hoping to make it through the chase and then and have a shot there the last race.
Well, maybe we can hang a couple horseshoes from the rear view. Well, you don't have the rear view up there anymore, do you? No, these things still have the rear view mirror, right?
Oh yeah,
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 they still do. That's right. It's just those new Gen 6s that have got that new digital rear view
that's
stuff.
right.
But
Yep.
we'll keep it old school at an old school track. Brandon, uh, Darlington, track too tough to tame. Everybody ends up with the Darlington stripe. I believe this 83 machine was able to keep it pretty clean all night long. But what does it say about you in the field? Only one caution tonight coming at our stage break. There was a truck here or there with a little bit of spin, but off of the racing surface, and officials no caution for those. How pleasing and how surprising at the same time is it to run 90 laps with only one stage break?
Uh, I I'm surprised, but again, I'm not. So we've had this is my third race in a row here where we have not had a caution for a crash. So the track's so wide, most accidents happen off the racing surface. So iRacing doesn't cause a or throw a caution. But then you got these drivers who are pretty forgiving and they start to wreck, they get out of the way, and so I'm not surprised with these group of guys.
Well, we're not surprised with the great racing action because week after week there is some crazy action trackside with yourself and all the other drivers here with the Colonial Clash Racing Truck Series. But you again, top them all, led the most laps here tonight. You're going to walk away with your fourth checkered flag of the season. So, Brandon, before we let you go and celebrate the night away, would you like to give any final shout outs, thank yous, love yous, maybe thank anybody back home or at the race shop?
Yeah, I got a shout out to my teammates Troy and Chris. I think I'm not bragging really, but we were the class of the field tonight. We were going to do our thing. I got a little hot headed there with Chris. I got under him going into one with about 10 to go, and he raced me hard. And I had caught him from a ways back. My tire strategy was a little better than his. So I sent it down there into turn three and uh, got him tight. And I think he hit the wall and then he spun out. So didn't want to wreck him, but I wasn't going to let him win either. If I didn't have to. So we like to win, but as a team, I would have rather seen us in the top three. So I apologize to him. I didn't. I really hate to see him wreck, but congrats to Troy and Brandon for the top three. Thanks Dave for the broadcast. Thanks to everybody here in Colonial Clash. They do a great job of promoting this deal and taking advice from everybody and trying to get good drivers in here. And I don't know if you've seen qualifying, but it was really really tight. If Troy didn't sneak the show up there with an O, but these guys are fast, so it's a blast racing with them every Wednesday. And then I got to thank all my sponsors, all the causes that we race for. We got Ellie's Place and Zoe's Place, Lucky Finn, Race for Riley, Kids Talk. all great organizations that are helping kids and helping people going through a tough time, and um, so we enjoy doing that. And then thanks to my family, I had to rush home tonight to get on here, so it takes a little bit of time away from them. So thanks to them for letting me get away from real life and getting to do this, even though like tonight I caused a little drama with my brother, but we'll move on to the next race and duke it out again.
Well, no fists at the barbecue on Sunday, my man. You gotta promise us that. No, I'm just kidding, just playing. Um, Brandon, as always, class act on and off the track. We enjoy every time we get a chance to speak to you. I'm sure this isn't going to be the final time this season. So for now, my friend, as always, stay safe and keep it fast.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from the man right there, front and center. Checkered flag in hand, Brandon Medford will walk away with his 4th win of the season. What a run it was, leading the most laps here tonight behind the wheel of That's Always Place. Number 83 machine, Brandon Medford, tops them all. What a run and what a night here tonight from Darlington Raceway as we go back high above the track. The turn 3 blimp looking down as all the fans begin to file out of the stands and into the parking lot, beginning to head home after a great race here midweek. Everybody's got to go back to work next or tomorrow, unfortunately. But producers hitting those buttons in the background, so before we can cut off the lights and roll up the cords, we're going to give you tonight's unofficial race results from Darlington Raceway and the Dutch Brothers 135, topping them once again into victory lane, the 83 of Brandon Medford. Troy Radford, your pole sitter here tonight. He will finish in 2nd. U.S. Air Force number 48 of Brandon Pamitan going to slide home in 3rd with 4th place going to your biggest mover here tonight inside of his Pro Cup racing experience. Number 21, Thomas Smalling, will come home in 4th. Rounding out your top 5. Behind the wheel of his 41 Chevy Silverado, John Kudakans comes home in 5th. The number 7 of Ricky Gonzalez is going to finish back in 6th with Dustin Franklin in 7th. Squared E55 of Nathan Estep back in 8th, and an MCN 66 Fort Worth screen printing machine of John Garrett comes home 9th, rounding out your top 10 after late race trouble and battle between the brothers. Tough break, but Chris Medford still finishes in a top 10. 35 of Wes Fuller will finish 11th with Scott Clodfelter back in 12th. Scott Baker in 13th. Thad Miller going to bring his 13 machine home in the 14th position. Early trouble here tonight for Zach Woods, and he's going to finish 7 laps down back in 15th. James Oud going to exit the track early 65 with engine trouble tonight. We'll finish in 16th, and unfortunately for 47 of Wayne Rappert, fuel troubles kept him from making the starting grid here tonight, down and out of tonight's race before it ever had a chance to fire off. Tough break. We'll see if Ray can make it back to the track next week, and that's going to conclude your 17 truck field here tonight. The Dutch Brothers 135. What a run, what a night here from Darlington Raceway. So if you haven't already, join us in that push to 3,000 subscribers. Show these drivers some love and drop that thumbs up. Click subscribe and smash that bell over there to the right hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, David the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you. So with that being said, stay safe, stay loved, my friends, and until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.